and they always include part of the rind. Kumquats look like mini oranges, but unlike oranges, their rinds are sweet, thus they're perfect for marmalade. For an aromatic treat, begin by having a few pounds of kumquats and coaxing out any seeds. This may take some time, but the results will be worth it. Then, measure the results and add 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of orange juice for every 3 cups of kumquats. Bring everything to a simmer and continue cooking until the mixture reduces and the liquid thickens. Pour it into a clean canning jar and refrigerate until you feel like a treat. Kumquats and strawberries. I can't resist though. You can always add a little something extra to this. My liquid spices. Lots of flavor potential here. So what shall it be today? Kumquat strawberries and licorice? Kumquat strawberries and brandy? Kumquat strawberries and rum? Kumquat strawberries and orange. Now there's some complimentary flavor. I hope it gets as many compliments as my mom's would. Here's to fishing and adventure. Right. Do you have a few special dishes that you love because they're fun to make and they taste great? I know I do, and with company coming, I'm making a few of them right now. I've coated some simple chicken breasts with basil pesto and wrapped them in prosciutto. They'll bake off nice and crisp, just like the outside of another favorite, these sweet little meringue tarts. Their insides are like marshmallows, and they're filled with strawberries and marmalade simply tossed together with a touch of orange liqueur. Without a doubt, one of my all-time favorite dishes, though, is risotto. There are lots of ways to make a great risotto. You might prefer a thick one that stands up on the plate, or a thin one that slumps down a little bit. You might prefer one chock-a-block full of meat and vegetables, or a plain one with just a touch of cheese. But whatever you like, a great risotto always has 3 things. First, the grains stay distinct. They don't clump together. Secondly, they retain a little bit of bite, some texture to them. And third, you have to use a high-starch rice like arborio. Onions are fascinating. When you first add them to the pot when they're still raw, they're very pungent. But after they heat through and start to soften, they lose all their flavor and turn very bland. So to add flavor back to them, you need to saute them until they're golden. And if you want tons of flavor, saute them until they're brown. I'll leave them at golden today though. Basically, as soon as you can smell the garlic, it's time to move on. Time for the rice. When I'm serving risotto as a sort of main dish, I usually use about 1 cup of rice for every 2 guests. But I'm not ready to add any liquid yet. Instead, I'll stir the grains around for a few minutes in the hot oil. Each one will get coated with oil, and that will help them stay distinct within the risotto. This is one of the key points when you're making risotto. Now when you're making risotto, unlike other rice dishes, you don't add all the liquid at once. Instead, you add it a little bit at a time. And it really helps if the liquid is already heated through, like this chicken broth, and unlike that white wine. And a consistent temperature helps the rice release its starch, and it's that starch that gives risotto its characteristic creaminess. So continue adding the hot liquid, a little bit at a time, stirring as you go until it's absorbed. And that's why arborio is your best choice for making risotto, because it has one of the highest starch contents of any rice. It's the patience you stir in the risotto that makes it so good, and the 4 cups or so of liquid that you add for each and every cup of arborio. So why not just stir all that liquid in at the beginning and be done with it? Well, the constant motion of the stirring helps encourage each and every grain to release all of its starch. With a dish like this, it's good to know that the ingredient really does inspire the technique. So how do you know when it's done? You taste it. Perfect. Each grain is distinct, it's not mushy. They're tender, they still have some texture though, they're not soft. And it's creamy. This risotto is done with a few finishing touches. Company's coming, so I'm whipping up some of my favorite dishes I enjoy making and eating, like crisp meringue shells. These are perfect for stuffing flavors into, and because I bake them off at 275 degrees, a relatively high temperature for meringue, they have a nice crisp exterior and a very smooth marshmallowy interior. They're ready for some flavor. With strawberries and kumquat marmalade tossed with orange liqueur. And some whipped cream. This is one of my favorite dishes to make because I love the transformation of the simple arborio rice grain into creamy, smooth risotto. And you can finish it off however you care to. This is good to go right now, but you can add some other flavors to it as well. I always finish my risottos off with some Parmesan cheese. And a sprinkle of chopped Italian flat leaf parsley. And while I'm at it, I might as well add some vegetables, some green vegetables, some super convenient frozen peas, Even though I use chicken broth to make this, I still think of it as a vegetable dish, and these peas will cook through in a heartbeat. Parmesan parsley pea risotto with prosciutto wrapped chicken. And I love the way the prosciutto just shrink wraps itself right onto the chicken, locks all the pesto inside. That may be a simple parsley sprig, but somehow it elevates these plates. It shows your guests how much care you put into their dinner. You know, you can find a favorite dish too that you really enjoy making, and when you do, celebrate the process. I guarantee it will taste even better. Nice, thanks for coming.
Cheers!
So we have here a pesto rubbed prosciutto wrapped chicken breast with Parmesan pea risotto.
And did you make the